Imagine living in your own city, yet every job application you submit comes back rejected. Meanwhile, new arrivals seem to be getting hired everywhere. This is the harsh reality for many locals in Brampton, Mississauga and Surrey, and it's reaching a breaking point. Chapter 1. The Jobs Locals. Can't get these cities are some of Canada's fastest growing immigration hubs, with populations doubling or tripling in just a few decades. The pace of change has transformed entire neighborhoods almost overnight. Job competition is brutal. One job posting at a warehouse, retail shop, or even a grocery store can attract hundreds of applicants. Locals who once had secure employment now find themselves in a sea of resumes. Employers are under pressure to fill positions quickly and cheaply. As a result, many locals report being overlooked in favor of workers willing to accept lower pay and longer hours. Industries like trucking, ride-sharing, warehousing, and food delivery are being flooded with newcomers who are willing to take what's offered. This saturation leaves little room for long-time residents. Local graduates with college diplomas and university degrees are being forced into survival jobs, unable to break into professional careers. At the same time, mid-level roles are increasingly filled by newcomers with international connections. In Mississauga, data shows service job demand has fallen, while applications have risen by more than 60% in just the past 5 years. This mismatch leaves many frustrated. For young Canadians, the message is harsh. Education is no longer a guaranteed path to stable employment. Even unpaid internships are fiercely contested. Older workers aren't spared either. Many who lost jobs during restructuring find themselves competing with younger, cheaper labor, often without success. This leads to resentment. Locals feel overlooked, while newcomers feel underpaid, trapped in jobs they accepted under pressure. Warehouse employees in Brampton describe rows of workers hired through agencies, with locals struggling to even secure interviews. In some sectors, especially trucking, employers openly admit they prefer newcomers because they're less likely to demand higher wages or benefits. A quiet discrimination forms in reverse. Instead of newcomers being excluded, it's the locals who now feel marginalized in their own job market. In many households, frustration has reached the dinner table. Parents worry their children won't find sustainable work despite growing up in Canada. This isn't just about individuals. The broader economy suffers when skilled locals are locked out of meaningful work. The cycle of exclusion creates inequality, where one group faces barriers while another is exploited for low pay. The end result? A job market constantly in tension, with families struggling to make ends meet while feeling pushed to the sidelines. Chapter 2. Immigration Pressures on the Ground. Canada admits over 500,000 new immigrants each year, with Brampton, Mississauga and Surrey receiving a disproportionate share. These inflows change the social and economic balance of entire regions. Housing and infrastructure are already stretched thin, and job creation can't keep pace with the population surge. In Brampton, immigrants make up more than 50% of the population. Diversity is celebrated, but the economic pressure is undeniable. Small businesses often recruit within familiar cultural networks, making it harder for outsiders, including locals, to secure opportunities. International students add another layer, competing directly with Canadian youth for low-wage jobs while also facing their own hardships. Many students are allowed to work part-time but end up working far more, creating underground job competition. Temporary foreign worker programs bring in labor for construction, trucking and manufacturing. These roles could sustain locals but are instead filled externally. Employers benefit most, as the oversupply of labor keeps wages from rising, ensuring bigger margins. Locals pay the price: stagnant paychecks, reduced access to jobs and higher living costs. Immigration pressures don't just affect jobs, they ripple into housing markets, schools and hospitals. In Mississauga, schools report larger class sizes, stretching teacher resources thin and reducing the quality of education. Hospitals in Peel region are overwhelmed, with wait times climbing steadily year after year. Transit systems are failing to expand quickly enough, leaving commuters packed into buses and trains. Infrastructure projects take years to complete, yet the immigration quotas rise annually with little consideration for capacity. Tensions rise in communities where locals feel their concerns are ignored in favor of meeting national quotas. The outcome is a region under constant strain, with cities struggling to catch up while residents wonder how much more they can endure. Chapter 3. Unfair hiring practices. Locals report submitting dozens of resumes with no response, even when qualified. They suspect hidden preferences are at play. Recruitment agencies in Peel region have faced allegations of funneling jobs through insider networks, leaving locals without fair access. In Surrey, technology companies lean heavily on temporary international hires, while local graduates sit unemployed. Employers often defend these choices by saying they can't find qualified workers, but in truth, it's often about cost savings. Immigrants, under pressure, accept lower wages, while locals refuse to work for unsustainable pay, creating a false labor shortage. Warehouses in Brampton regularly advertise 15,000 to 16-hour jobs requiring long shifts of heavy labor. Locals see this as exploitation. Those with families can't survive on these wages, while newcomers accept them as a stepping stone, creating division. Some newcomers are forced into exploitative pay-to-work scams, handing back portions of their pay to corrupt recruiters. These practices harm everyone. Locals are excluded, newcomers are exploited, and honest businesses are undercut. Meanwhile, workers who speak out risk retaliation or being blacklisted from job agencies. In Mississauga, multiple locals claim they've seen job ads vanish overnight, only to hear roles were filled through informal community networks. Job interviews are sometimes held in languages locals don't speak, creating unspoken barriers. Canadian-born applicants often feel like strangers in their own hiring process. The government's oversight of recruitment agencies remains weak, allowing these practices to thrive unchecked. Instead of building fairness, the system rewards exploitation, leaving locals increasingly angry. Unfair hiring not only hurts individuals, but weakens trust in Canada's promise of equal opportunity. Chapter 4. City struggles, housing, wages, and overcrowding. Rapid immigration has triggered housing crises in these cities. In Brampton, average home prices have jumped over 150% in just 10 years. For locals, the dream of owning a home is slipping away. First-time buyers are locked out, competing with higher demand from newcomers. Rental prices in Mississauga are among the highest in Ontario, with single-bedroom apartments averaging $2,500 or more per month. Wages haven't kept pace. Incomes rise by only 1 to 2% per year, while rents climb by 8 to 10%. Overcrowding has become visible. In Surrey, it's common to see 3 or 4 families sharing one detached home. Neighborhoods are stretched thin, with garbage collection, parking, and utilities unable to keep up. Schools operate over capacity, forcing children into portable classrooms and reducing individual attention from teachers. Hospitals in Peel and Surrey regions face hours-long wait times, with emergency rooms spilling into hallways. Public transit hasn't expanded at the same pace, causing commutes that stretch over an hour within city limits. Roads are clogged with delivery vehicles and commuter traffic, creating frustration and delays. Locals say their sense of community is eroding, replaced by rapid turnover of neighbours and unfamiliar faces. City governments admit they are overwhelmed but insist federal immigration policies leave them with little choice. Brampton's mayor has called for more funding, but the gap between population growth and resources continues to widen. Residents feel their voices are ignored, fueling resentment and feelings of displacement. Cultural differences create misunderstandings, adding to a sense of division rather than unity. The struggles go beyond economics. They reshape the very character of these cities, leaving locals feeling out of place in their own hometowns. Chapter 5. What it means for the future. If current trends continue, locals will be permanently locked out of jobs and affordable housing. Youth unemployment in Peel region already sits at 15%, nearly double the national average. Graduates face bleak prospects, with many leaving the region in search of opportunity elsewhere. Families discuss relocating to smaller towns, but jobs there are even scarcer. Professional roles, once a source of stability, are now under intense competition from both locals and newcomers. Trades like trucking and construction are oversaturated, leaving wages depressed. Without reform, the divide between locals and newcomers will harden into resentment. Social tensions are already rising, with protests and heated debates across Brampton and Surrey. Politicians remain hesitant to confront immigration quotas, fearing backlash or accusations of intolerance. This leaves communities feeling abandoned by leaders meant to protect their interests. Public trust erodes when locals believe their opportunities are being sacrificed for political agendas. If wages continue to stagnate and housing prices soar, families may face generational poverty. Locals fear their children will inherit debt, high rents, and limited career options. Communities that once promised opportunity now struggle to deliver it for their own residents. The question is no longer if change is needed, but whether leaders will act before the situation collapses further. Without intervention, the story of Brampton, Mississauga, and Surrey could become a cautionary tale for the rest of Canada. If you believe Canadians deserve fair access to jobs, housing, and a future in their own cities, make your voice heard. Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like if you agree, and share this video so more people wake up to the crisis. Don't forget to subscribe. Together we'll keep exposing the truth.